every once in a while I have one of those recipes that is just a huge hit and a major home run. This is it. It's my #1 recipe on my website, and it has been for some time now. It's my egg drop soup recipe. In the winter and spring, and let's face it, all the time, whenever anyone wakes up with that icky feeling in their throat where it just doesn't feel very good or it's really cold in the morning, I love making egg drop soup because it's so soothing for your throat. It's velvety, it's rich, it has protein, it's low carb, and it is seriously so easy to make. It only takes 10 minutes or less. So here's how to make egg drop soup at home. This is the best recipe and you'll never buy it at a restaurant again. First, we're going to start out with 6 cups of chicken broth. I like to just use boiling filtered water and add Better Than bouillon. You know I love this Better Than bouillon. I talk about it all the time. And I just add a couple tablespoons of the low sodium Better Than bouillon to the boiling water. Now here's a tip is if you put your spoon into the hot water first before you scoop it out of the jar, then it slides right out of the spoon and you don't have it like stuck onto the spoon. I don't think I did that this time, but that is a tip for using Better Than bouillon. And now the rest of this is so simple, and we're just going to add in the rest of the ingredients. So to start, we're adding some chopped green onions. I'm using about 1 stalk's worth. It's about 2 or 3 tablespoons, depending on how much you like it. But if you don't have fresh green onion, I've also used some freeze-dried chives in a pinch, and that works totally great as well. Next, I'm adding 2 teaspoons of minced garlic, and you can use as much garlic as you want. I'm also adding a teaspoon of grated fresh ginger. I didn't have the fresh kind with me today, and so I'm just using one of these little cubes that I bought in the frozen section at Trader Joe's. These are so nice to have on hand when I don't have fresh ginger ready to use. And like any of the ingredients in this recipe, just do it to your taste. If you want it more gingery, more garlicky, you just add whatever you like. Next, add a tablespoon of soy sauce. Then some crushed red pepper flakes, which is optional, but I don't find it makes it really spicy. It just adds a little bit of flavor and a tiny bit of heat, so I really like that. Now mix that all together, and then I like to add 1 cup of some frozen sweet corn. This is so yummy. It just has like that little burst of sweetness every now and then, and it is just so good. But if you want to keep it lower in carbs, just leave the corn out. But I will tell you it's really good. So let that come to a boil or a simmer, and in the meantime, let's put together our cornstarch slurry. So in a separate small bowl, we're just going to mix together 3 tablespoons of cold water and 3 tablespoons of cornstarch. This I feel like makes a pretty good consistency, but if you like it really a lot thicker, then you can add a tablespoon more of cornstarch. Or if you don't want to add those carbs to your egg drop soup, then you can just omit this cornstarch slurry altogether. I just find it helps like make that really nice smooth velvety texture, but you don't absolutely need it. After you do the cornstarch slurry, let's beat together our eggs. I use 4 to 5 eggs because I really like it like super eggy, but you can use as little as 2 or 3 eggs or as many as 6 eggs. Let's do 4 eggs in a liquid measuring cup, and then I actually like to add just a splash of water. That kind of helps to just make the ribbons of the egg really nice, and it blends together really well. Now, when the soup comes to a boil, this really only takes a couple of minutes. We're going to stir in our cornstarch slurry. So while mixing, add in that cornstarch slurry and then it will start to thicken. Make sure it comes to a boil, and then we're ready to add our eggs. Turn off the heat. Now this is really important. You have to turn off the heat so it's not boiling all over the place. And then we're going to slowly drizzle our eggs in a circular pattern all over the top of the soup. Don't stir it, don't do anything crazy, just put it in like these fine little ribbons all over the top of the soup, and the heat of the liquid will cook everything just perfectly. We don't want it to be overcooked and rubbery. Wait about 30 seconds or so, and then just take a spoon or a spatula, and I like to just kind of fold in those eggs from the sides of the pot, so you're just pulling it right into the center to kind of distribute things. If you mix it all together, you'll get a really cloudy soup, and that's not what we want. We want those really beautiful, thin, silky ribbons of egg. And honestly, that's it. Like, that's all you have to do. I always like to taste it and add a little bit of, extra white pepper to make it a little bit spicier, or a little bit extra ginger to make it a little bit spicier, but I like a lot of flavor in mine. If you find that yours is lacking in a little bit of flavor, I would just add a little bit extra Better Than bouillon. That also really helps just give that broth a really good flavor and texture. Now, this is really important at the end. It's like a key ingredient. Don't try and make this without it. You want about a tablespoon or 2 of toasted sesame oil. This really pulls the whole thing together. It gives it that really beautiful texture in the mouth, and it just like gives it like a punch of delicious flavor. So don't forget the sesame oil. And I like to top each and every bowl with just a little bit more green onion, some white pepper, some crushed red pepper flakes, and a little bit more sesame oil, because it just makes that whole bowl just so gorgeous and beautiful and delicious. So I know that you're going to enjoy this for the next time, you know, you get sick or you just want something for dinner or lunch. It's high protein, low calorie, and so amazingly just delicious and so easy to make. So I hope you enjoyed this recipe. Thanks so much for watching. Make sure you watch this video next, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye.